Buddy, this is the planet Earth here. I'm gonna go ahead and read this to you. Why is it backwards? Has it always been like this? I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna read it to you. Generalized anxiety disorder. What is it? Defined. Okay. Relationships, health, money, deadlines, traffic, world affairs, climate change, arriving on time to work or an appointment, you name it. We all have plenty to worry about, but people who have generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD, experience persistent, excessive, and unrelenting worry that goes on every day, most of the day. Those with generalized anxiety disorder don't know how to stop the worry cycle, which they feel is beyond their control, and it interferes with their daily living. They often expect the worst, and they worry disproportionately about real concerns, physical elements, often accompanying the worrying muscle tension, fatigue, irritability, gastrointestinal symptoms, and headaches. Many people experience having repetitive, circular, internal dialogues between their anxious mind and their rational mind that interfere with sleep and enjoyment of life. Others repeatedly seek reassurance. GAD affects men and women, and it can begin at any time. No laboratory test exists to specifically diagnose this or any other anxiety disorder. A mental health provider diagnosing GAD asks questions about your medical history. He or she will try to determine if your symptoms are a part of where the hell did I go? Are a part of another mental disorder or due to a substance or medical issue. Generalized anxiety is diagnosed if you've worried chronically on more days than not about a variety of everyday problems for at least 6 months. A diagnosis of GAD is determined if chronic worrying interferes with daily living, such as causing you to miss work or school, or causes significant mental distress. Further, if you have a very difficult struggle to regain control, relax, or manage anxiety and worry, that usually indicates GAD. GAD is also diagnosed if for most days over the previous 6 months you have experienced 3 or more of these symptoms that cause clinically significant distress. Restless or feeling keyed up on or edge, yes. Being easily fatigued, yes. Difficulty concentrating or mind going blank, yes. Irritability, yes. Muscle tension, yes. Sleep disturbances, difficulty falling or staying asleep, or restless, unsatisfying sleep, sometimes. Anxiety and generalized anxiety disorder. In addition to GAD, the term anxiety disorder includes panic disorder and panic attacks, agoraphobia, social anxiety disorder, selective mutism. I don't know how to say that. Mutism, separation anxiety, and specific phobias. Obsessive-compulsive disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder are closely related to anxiety disorders. Anxiety is one of the symptoms. Some people may experience either one of these disorders along with depression and other related disorders at the same time. Each disorder has specific symptoms. For more details, visit the ADAA website at www.adaa.org. Now, this is for generalized anxiety disorder. Now, we're going to go because this is the one that bothers me the most, but I'm going to read it. Panic disorder. So, panic disorder. Here we go. We've all experienced that gut-wrenching fear when suddenly faced with threatening or dangerous situation. Crossing the street as a car shoots out of nowhere. Losing sight of a child on the playground, or hearing someone scream in a crowd. Momentary panic sends chill down our spines and causes our hearts to beat wildly, our stomachs to knot, and our minds to fill with terror. When the threat passes, so do our symptoms. We are relieved that something bad did not take place, and we move on. But imagine shopping in a grocery store when out of the blue you feel as if you are in the throes of an impending disaster. Your heart is pounding out of your chest and you feel tingly, sweaty, and lightheaded. You are convinced you are going to pass out, lose your mind, make a fool of yourself, or even go crazy or die. Then as quickly as those feelings come on, they pass. You've had a panic attack. You are exhausted and confused and you wonder, what if this happens again? Panic attacks occur unexpectedly, sometimes even during sleep. People who experience such attacks are preoccupied with the fear of another or alter their behavior to avoid places or situations, may have panic disorder, a serious but highly treatable condition. Panic disorder typically develops in early adulthood, and it affects about 2 to 3% of adults and adolescents. Women are twice as likely men to develop the panic disorder. Many people suffering from panic attacks don't know they have a real and treatable disorder. A panic attack is an abrupt onset of intense fear or discomfort that reaches a peak within minutes and includes at least 4 of the following symptoms. Palpitations, pounding heart or an accelerated heart rate, yes. Sweating, oh hell yes. Trembling or shaking, yes. Sensations of shortness of breath or smothering, that one I don't really have. Sometimes, though, it just depends. Sometimes the acid reflux during an anxiety or panic attack comes through the esophagus and comes up to your throat, makes you feel short of breath. And that is accelerated by the body's fight or flight response. And I've had that before. Feelings of choking? No. Chest pain or discomfort? Yes. Nausea or abdominal distress? Hell yes. Feeling dizzy, unsteady, lightheaded, or faintish? Yes. Chills or heat sensations. Is it me or is it really cold in this 90-degree weather? Yes. Paresthesia. Numbness or tingling sensations. Yes. Derealization. Feelings of unreality or depersonalization, being detached from oneself. Not really. Not really. Fear of losing control or going crazy. Yes. Fear of dying. Biggest yes. Agoraphobia. To receive a diagnosis of agoraphobia, a person invests more time and attention to avoiding specific places or circumstances where a panic attack or panic-like symptoms take place. Fearful of a reoccurrence, often these are public places where immediate escape would be difficult, such as shopping malls or sports arena, as well as public transportation, stores, theaters, and similar enclosed places. The world may shrink as someone with agoraphobia remains on guard for the next panic attack or distressing symptom. About 1.8% of adults and adolescents develop agoraphobia. Some cope by sticking to a fixed route between home and work or school, or by always having a safe person accompanying them. In extreme cases, people with agoraphobia may not leave the house, or they do so only if absolutely necessary. Anxiety and panic. In addition to panic disorder, panic attacks, and agoraphobia, the term anxiety disorder includes generalized anxiety disorder, social anxiety disorder, selective mutism, separation anxiety, and specific phobias. Obsessive compulsive disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder are closely related to anxiety disorders. Anxiety is one of the symptoms. Each disorder has symptoms. For more details, visit the ADAA website. Normal anxiety versus panic disorder. An important part of living. Anxiety is a normal emotional response. It says reaction, but I put response to stress, which is a biological response to a threat. Anxiety helps us get out of harm's way and prepare for important events, and it warns us when we need to take action. When the anxiety is persistent, excessive, seemingly uncontrollable, overwhelming, and disabling, or when it interferes with daily activities, you may have panic or another anxiety disorder. And it has some sort of, I don't know how to say that, so I'll just let you read that. It says normal anxiety and panic disorder. Panicking when your school nurse says your child was injured on the playground. That's normal. Suddenly feeling as if you're going to lose control and start screaming in a crowded place. I've had that a few times, but I never really screamed. I was more like, ooh. Being scared about driving on the highway at night during a snowstorm. Preoccupation with the fear of having a panic attack and passing out while driving. If I ever start having a panic attack while driving, I always pull over before I go into a full-blown effect. Like, when I'm driving and it feels like I have a panic attack coming on, I always pull over safely and I turn the car off. Or if I leave the car on, I put it in park and put in the emergency brake. And then I just put the music on low and air conditioner heater on high and just try to relax while having one. That's what I do during an anxiety attack. If I'm driving and I have one. Like when I was coming from California, I did have one. It only lasted for about 15 minutes. And I was in the middle of nowhere, so I knew that if it was something else, I just had to accept those feelings. I was sweating up a storm. It was like 60 degrees outside, and I was sweating up a storm. I was like profusely sweating, and my heart rate was like... I mean, I was probably hitting 170 on that one. Nervous anticipating news about a job interview or evaluation. That's normal. Relentless and overwhelming fear of experiencing another panic attack, even without apparent threat or danger. Effects: from the terrifying and confusing symptoms of the attacks themselves to the constant fear of having another anxiety attack. Panic disorder can be frightening, disruptive, and debilitating. Many of the symptoms mimic those found in heart disease, thyroid problems, breathing disorders, and other illnesses. People experiencing panic attacks often make numerous visits to the emergency rooms or doctor's offices convinced they have a life-threatening illness. Wow, isn't that the staple of what the fuck has been happening with me since I started having these? Well, holy shit. How the hell did you guys know? In the past, it might have taken months or years and lots of frustration before getting a proper diagnosis. Some people are afraid of being embarrassed to tell anyone, including their doctors or loved ones, that they are experiencing the fear of being seen as a hypochondriac. That's a big problem. You know, when you're having panic attacks, that is a big one. Everybody calls you a hypochondriac and stuff like that. Now, yeah, you're obsessively worried about your health because you keep having that heart racing and all these symptoms, and you don't know if it's just purely anxiety or not at first, especially when you first start having panic attacks. You'll end up in the ER room, usually. When I had my first anxiety attack, I just remember everything just going blank except for the heart rate. It was 2. I mean, I was over 200 on that one. It was just going fast, and I felt really clammy, real clammy. And then that's it. I mean, I just remember 911, what's your emergency? I said, yeah, I think I'm dying physically. Can you please send assistance? Ambulances come in. I unlock the door. I get up and unlock the door. I don't want them breaking it open because I know that much. I've seen enough shows to know that if you don't open the door, they'll break it open. So I unlocked the door and I just laid there, just heart racing to max. And then when they hit me with that machine and they put it on, you know how they put the oxygen meter on and they take your blood pressure. The second they hit that, it was like ding, 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 ding. And they did an EKG. It was normal, but it was very fast. And they're like, oh, we got to get you to the hospital. We got to get that heart rate down. What's going on? Have you ever been this way before? No. I mean, that thing was going so fast. That thing was going crazy. That beeping. It wouldn't, even when they pushed the sound, even when they silenced all the alarms on those machines, it still went off because it's too fast. It went ding, 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 ding. They pushed silence all alarms for 5 minutes, and that thing wouldn't shut up anyway. Too fast. Panic disorder often occurs along with other mental and physical disorders, including other anxiety disorders, depression, irritable bowel syndrome, asthma, and substance abuse. This may further increase the difficulty in getting a proper diagnosis and treatment. While the exact cause of panic disorder is unknown, research suggests that a combination of a person's biology, genes, personality, and environmental factors all contribute to the onset and development of the disorder. Environmental factors. Let's say somebody growing up in a bad neighborhood. Let's say somebody growing up in a bad familyhood. Most people who seek treatment for panic disorder and agoraphobia see significant improvement and enjoy a better quality of life. I don't know about that. There is no single right treatment. What works for someone else may not be the best choice for you. Your course of treatment should be tailored to your individual needs. Ask your treatment provider to explain why a particular type of treatment is recommended, what the other available options are, and what you must do to fully participate in your recovery. Suffering from panic disorder experience panic attacks can interfere with many aspects of your life. All donations are tax deductible. Here's another one. This one I don't really have an issue with too much. I'll just go straight to the symptoms. Fear of being visibly nervous in front of others. Extreme anticipatory anxiety about social interactions and performance situations, such as speaking to a group. Fear of not knowing what to say. Avoiding face-to-face interactions by depending on technology. That's 99% of Americans. Fear of eating in public. Fuck no, I'll fucking eat right in front of you. Using alcohol or marijuana to function in social situations. I've seen people do that. I've definitely seen people do that. Social anxiety disorder. But I've read you the main ones of why people are on my channel. Now this one depends on you. I'll give you the symptoms, but I won't read the whole thing. But like the other two were important to read. Constant irrational worry about dirt, germs, or contamination. Excessive concern with order, arrangement, or symmetry. Fear that negative or blasphemous thoughts or impulses will cause personal harm or harms to a loved one. Preoccupation with losing or throwing away objects with little or no value. Debbie! Distasteful religious and sexual thoughts or images. Compulsions. Cleaning, repeatedly washing hands, bathing, or cleaning household items. Checking and rechecking several to hundreds of times a day that the doors are locked, stove is turned off, hair dryer is unplugged. Repeating, unable to stop repeating a name, phrase, or activity. I want women. I want women. Touching and arranging. Never seen that before. Mental rituals. Endless reviewing of conversations, counting, or praying to neutralize obsessions. The causes, it says, is a disorder of the brain. It appears to run in families, and genetics may play a partial role in development. Scientists continue to study the life stressors, triggers, and factors that are important to the development and severity of symptoms, including whether they begin in childhood or later in life. Anxiety and depression. It's a long one. Oh boy, it'd be like a 20-minute read, and I've already read it. Anxiety and depression probably go hand in hand in a way. Maybe. I think they do. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope this has made you a little less likely to hate people with anxiety disorder. I hope. I'm not hoping 100%, but I hope it helps you understand a little better for the people that don't suffer from anxiety disorders. Thank you guys for watching.